Marsha Butts with the CTV News Update. While residents roll up their sleeves for COVID-19 vaccines at a Glendale church today, a community vaccination clinic has been set up at Reed Temple AME. It's part of a partnership with Luminous Health Doctors Community Medical Center. Reed Temple AME is the first church in the county to be used as a clinic. Deputy Chief Administrative Officer Dr. George Askew and Lieutenant Governor Boyd Rutherford were at the church this morning.
It's going to be a long haul getting through this. We're going to get everybody vaccinated that needs to get vaccinated, that wants to get vaccinated, and know that your county executive is working hard.
This partnership is a model for how we can reach further into the community, extend the reach of the state and local health departments. And we're encouraging other departments, the county departments, to reach out and develop these type of partnerships.
You have to register to receive the vaccine. For more information, visit reedtemple.org. The state health department today reports more than 1,100 new coronavirus cases. The new numbers have Maryland nearing 369,000 cases. An additional 36 Marylanders have died from the virus. Currently, more than 1,200 Marylanders are hospitalized. Governor Larry Hogan says he's working to provide 1 million COVID-19 tests for schools across the state. A new program with the Maryland State Department of Education will give COVID tests to both public and non-public schools. Meantime, Hogan announced yesterday that he's allowing visits to resume at hospitals and nursing homes. Nursing homes can begin visits as early as March 1st, as long as they don't have active COVID cases.
This testing program, which will include both rapid antigen tests and full diagnostic testing, will be available to any public or non-public schools that want to launch a testing program or that want to supplement an existing testing program. We're also offering an unlimited supply of PPE to all schools. And we are, in addition, distributing more than $1 billion in funding to help more children get safely back into the classrooms.
Meantime, the governor is allowing licensed child care centers and registered family child care providers an opportunity to apply for child care pandemic relief grants. The $60 million grant program will help child care facilities meet operating costs and help loss of revenue. Well, day 4 of the Trump impeachment trial is underway. The former president's legal team tried flip the switch on House managers by casting Trump as a nonviolent and a believer of law and order. The former president's attorneys accused Democratic leaders of being insiders of violence. They also called the proceedings a sham impeachment trial that is politically motivated by hate and vitriol. In his argument, attorney Michael Van Der Veen attempted to distance Trump from the deadly riot, saying Trump is against mob violence and that the peaceful rally on January 6th was co-opted.
No thinking person could seriously believe that the president's January 6th speech on the ellipse was in any way an incitement to violence or insurrection. The suggestion is patently absurd on its face. On January 6th, a small group who came to engage in violent and menacing behavior hijacked the event for their own purposes.
The defense could wrap up their opening arguments today. Legislation is making its way through the Maryland General Assembly that would prohibit state dollars from going to the Maglev high-speed rail project. Delegate Nicole Williams and Senator Paul Pinsky have sponsored bills that would prohibit state funding. Pinsky says the train, which would connect D.C. to Baltimore, would have no benefit for Prince George's, even though it would cut through several communities.
It doesn't help the people in Prince George's County. I think it's going to be so expensive. This will be for bankers and lobbyists and not for working and middle income families. And, I've introduced a bill that says, look, if you find the billions of dollars to raise it, we can't stop it. But I want to make sure there's no tax money involved. So if you build it and then fall short, I don't want you coming to the state of Maryland saying we need help.
The federal government recently released an environmental impact statement related to the Maglev. Residents can weigh in by going to bwmaglev.info. A Prince George's school security worker is worried he could lose his arrest powers. That's if the school board adopts new security measures now under consideration. Unlike school resource officers or SROs, security personnel work for PGCPS, not the police department. Lead investigator Charles Hamlin says he's concerned the proposed changes could mean a decrease in pay. He also says, unlike SROs, security workers try to build relationships with students.
We are more relational with the students than many of them are because of our everyday interaction with the students. We build relationships, we do a lot of mentoring, we do a lot of coaching, and things of that nature. And also we have discretion. What I mean by that is if a student broke the law in front of us, then we can handle it on our level. That student doesn't necessarily have to be charged, which in most cases they are not charged.
The school system would not comment on the complaints. Prince George's police are investigating a fatal carjacking in Riverdale Park last night. Officers responded to the 5400 block of 54th Avenue around 8 p.m. When police arrived, they found the victim in a parking lot suffering from gunshot wounds. He died later at a hospital. Anyone with information on this incident is asked to contact police. You're watching CTV News. I'm Keisha Butts. Back in one moment.
I am what child hunger looks like in America. I am a 9-year-old boy who hopes a friend invites me to a sleepover so I can have dinner. I am a 15-year-old girl who goes for walks during lunch so my friends won't know I don't have anything to eat. I am a 13-year-old boy who gets into fights at school just because I'm hungry. I was created by artificial intelligence from faces of the 1 in 7 American children who struggle with hunger. Kids you pass by every day but never knew they were hungry.
Feeding America, 200 food banks strong.
Welcome back. Montgomery County health officials say they've had challenges with the state's online vaccine registration portal. They've asked the state to fix PrepMod, Maryland's online registration site. Officials say hundreds of people have misused the system by sharing PrepMod registration links.
The link provides you access to the registration site to get an appointment to receive a vaccine. And so we have security measures in place to limit that, but it goes back to the ability to register on site. And once you get through the screeners and you receive a link, you have a link, you get a link from an email, and the email, we clearly state on the email, please do not share the link. But folks will cut that disclaimer out or any information and share the link. And so when you get to one of our sites, if your name isn't the recipient, because we know who should receive a link, then unfortunately, we have to turn you away, and we've been turning folks away.
Meantime, Bridger says Montgomery has also advocated for a mass vaccination site. The jurisdiction has identified the Soccerplex in Germantown and the Fairgrounds in Gaithersburg as possible locations. An emergency pandemic relief bill in the Maryland General Assembly could be delayed or derailed. Members of the Latino caucus are pressing for direct payments to undocumented workers who pay taxes using an individual tax identification number rather than a Social Security number. An amendment added by a House committee yesterday would provide a direct stimulus payments to I-10 filers who would have qualified for the Earned Income Tax Credit, but are ineligible because of federal law. 3 Baltimore area men have been arrested for wire fraud in a COVID-19 vaccine scheme. Authorities say the men from Windsor Mill and Owings Mills set up a fake website replicating a vaccine company, and through the website they offered to sell fraudulent COVID vaccines. If convicted, the men could face jail time of 20 years. If you think you're a victim of COVID fraud, you're asked to call the disaster fraud hotline at 1-866-720-5721. The Washington Council of Governments is advocating for increased funding for Metro. At its board meeting this week, members voted to send a resolution and letter to congressional leaders aimed at securing dedicated federal dollars for Metro. Congress is considering new legislation that would reauthorize its federal contribution, but COG is advocating for at least $2 billion in dedicated federal funding over 10 years.
It is important for us to weigh in on issues like this. Metro funding is a priority for our region, but not necessarily a priority for the country. And there's always a lot of competition for federal dollars. And many times there are attempts to cut this funding, sometimes nominally, sometimes significantly. And we want to be a squeaky wheel on this issue. It's important that we always weigh in.
Comptroller Peter Franchot urges taxpayers to file their forms electronically this year and avoid postal delays. Maryland and the IRS began processing personal income tax returns today. The governments have a later than usual start date to allow the Internal Revenue Service to implement changes related to federal COVID-19 relief packages. Currently, the deadline to file is still April 15th. Environmental issues will be a hot topic during a virtual forum this weekend. Topics include power plants, clean energy, forest conservation, chemical contaminants, and more. The event, which focuses on Prince George's County, takes place tomorrow, February 13th from 3:30 to 5:30 p.m. Councilmember Tom Dernoga is hosting the event.
One of the issues that we've always had and continue to have is big issues flooding. We have a lot of water problems in the county. We have a lot of dirty waterways. So obviously the Anacostia River Watershed Society has been very active over the years. They're a co-host. We had the Patuxent River, a very major river in the state. And we've always coordinated with the Patuxent River Keeper. So water, climate are very big issues. And one of the issues that's really come to the forefront is the PFAS, the chemicals that are in water that has become prevalent. That movie Dark Waters focused on that a year or two ago. So we have a topic dealing with that. There's a state bill dealing with trying to clean up these chemicals. Those are some of the big issues. In addition, we've got the Maglev. A lot of people in the county concerned about the magnetic levitation train that's going to come through the county, or would come through the county, affect a lot of communities and have virtually no benefit to the county.
Again, the Environmental Forum takes place tomorrow afternoon from 3:30 to 5:30. Advanced registration is required. To participate, go to bit.ly/2021 EnviroForum. Meantime, the county's Department of the Environment will also hold a virtual climate action plan meeting on Thursday, March 4th, from 6:30 to 8:30 in the evening. For more information about the event, call 240-539-0511. 2 members of the Maryland legislature introduced a bill to rename Indian Head Highway in Prince George's and Charles counties. Senate Bill 213 would rename the roadway, also known as Maryland 210, to President Barack Obama Highway. The measure is sponsored by Senators Obie Patterson and Arthur Ellis and is currently before the Senate Finance Committee. Some committee members questioned the decision to rename a highway best known for fatal accidents and illegal street racing in honor of Obama. Well, let's get a quick check on our 3-day weather forecast. Tonight, a slight chance of snow with a low around 27. Saturday, cloudy with a wintry mix. Daytime temps reach a high near 31 and a low around 29. Sunday, mostly cloudy with a high near 39 and a low around 29. Monday, mostly cloudy with a high near 35 and a low around 26. And now for the community calendar, grab your cup of joe and join the discussion. Here's your chance to meet the Maryland State Art Council's executive director along with other special guests and discuss the arts in Maryland. Coffee with Ken takes place every Tuesday morning from 9 until 10 a.m. Here are a few upcoming sessions listed on your screen. For more information, visit www.msac.org. And that's your CTV News Update. I'm Keisha Butts. Have a good night and a good weekend.